Morning, everybody. How you all doing? Okay, I think that's good enough. Well, don't want to necessarily show that, right? There we go. Hey, in Minnesota, supposed to get up with Thomas Berry and have shut up. I thought I'd shut you down, and have not for very good reason. Thomas got some news, and he needed to move on it as quickly as possible. He has the green light to launch the Watch app, and he is working diligently on that. He's going to be on with us, but he's working diligently on that to get that up and going. So, congratulations to the brother for coming to the end of the road with that thing. I'm trying to make sure my alarms aren't going off. Look, I'm old. I got like five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10 damn alarms. I don't know about y'all, but I need every last one of them with my eyes. But and I go to sleep early. I'm in bed between 8:30 and 9:30. Yo, I don't know. I don't know what, but it works for me. And I've been getting up better and more refreshed, so on and so. God dang, I washed my face this morning. Allergies. It is what it is. Look, things that happen when your ass get old. But anyhow, Tom's got the green light to complete the app, the Watch app, and he's working on that big time. And that's pretty much done. We were talking. Did we talk this morning? We talked last night. One of the two. And he was saying that he was doing a lot of the marketing bit at this point. So everything else should be coming along. We'll get together a little bit later on for an NAACP event, and we'll move on from there. It's been a very relaxing trip. Uh, Even though I do miss spending time with my brother, it was good just to get away. I had some work to do for work, so I was able to do that with very little distraction. Then my ass crashed. Flight was delayed massively. Was new, right? Yo, if you've not flown recently, I didn't have a problem. Well, that's not true. I didn't have a problem with the lines at TSA, but yeah, there's still a lot of delays going on. But we all know what's going on. The government is shut down. People are calling out, and I ain't mad at them. They pissed. You working for nothing. Literally, you get $0 on your freaking check. What kind of protections these folks have? What kind of protections are put in place for folks not to lose their housing, their cars? Even before now, well, you may not know. Even before now, car repos have gone out up the off the roof. Yeah, people, it's too yo. One the average car right about now is like 50,000 freaking dollars. Let's be clear. Who the hell can afford that and still afford a place to live and still put food on the table and still be able to take the kids out every now and again just to burn off some damn energy? You ain't talking about nothing extravagant, going to the mall, dropping a couple $100 and nothing like that. Just getting them outside just to do something. Go to the freaking zoo or an amusement park or whatever. It doesn't matter. Man, this shit is crazy. It is crazy. There's no other way of saying it. There's no other words I choose to use at this time to describe it. It is absolutely freaking insane right now. Just and anything and everything is off the meat rack. And we had this conversation before. It's not the first time. Hell, it's not the second or third time. Once upon a time, you would think that making six figures, you good, like you good, man. Making six figures nowadays, your ass is broke. You better go out here and hustle and make some more damn money on the side or do something. I ain't saying necessarily walk the street, shell no ass, but you got to do something nowadays. It is rough out here, rough out here for real. And you know, I went to White Castle this morning because White Castle fries only come in one size. So I had a taste for that this morning, and I went up in that piece, and I got the number one. Man, that shit was like $10, $11, something like that, it, for some White Castle burgers. It's a fries. It is ain't Wendy's. It's White Castle. But White Castle costing you $10. White Castle costing you the same amount as what's the place that's closed on Sundays with the chicken? Chick-fil-A. Yeah, White Castle costing you Chick-fil-A. It's White Castle. But it costs you as much as Chick-fil-A. This is crazy. What the hell going on around here? Then, we're still going back and forth about the SNAP benefits. we're in day 32. Day 32 of the governmental shutdown. No opening in sight as of now. I think you're going to get, because the administration has been forced to fund the SNAP benefits. I thought I stopped that. It has been forced to fund the SNAP benefits. I think you're going to get a rush to reopen the government next week. Midterms are next week, Tuesday. That's why vote, vote, vote is the name of the damn show. Like, um, this vote come Tuesday is seen as a referendum on what the administration is doing. And if folk get out and turn heavily toward the policies and the agenda of the new administration, then God forgive all of us, because we're gonna be in for a ride. But if folk come out and they push back against the administration by voting for the other side, then we may be in for a battle, um, that we are deserving of right now. Because right now, be it you agree, with the tactics of this current administration, I would hope that you would be centric enough to understand that this is totally tearing apart our lives. As I've said before, there's nothing wrong with change. Nothing wrong with change. Change is unavoidable. It's human nature. But to completely obliterate has been the checks and balances of our system, one fell swoop, that's a huge pill to swallow. Again, not all of it's bad. Some of this crap needed to go. Trump petitioned the Republicans recently to kill the filibuster. They ain't trying to kill that, because they understand that's their ace in the hole when they're not in power. They know how to use it very, very well. Uh, he petitioned them to kill the filibuster in order to stop the shutdown. They ain't trying to do that. They are constantly talking about how this is a democratic shutdown, but as I reminded folks just yesterday, I believe, how is it that the gavel is in the possession of the Republican Party, yet they are crying that they cannot move government? That that doesn't work, because whenever it's something that they want to do, they make it happen. They vote along party lines to make it happen. So why, in this case, can they not vote along party lines to make this happen? If the gavel is in their hands because they are the party in power, then how is it not in their hands to break the shutdown? Um, I don't get it, but that's where we are. Everyone's pointing fingers at the other person, trying to make it make sense. I think if the polling in New Jersey, I think, is what's keeping folks from opening the government. The polling in New Jersey shows that the Republicans have a real chance of taking that seat, the gubernatorial seat in New Jersey. And it's not that bad of a chance in Virginia either. We'll talk about all that in a half a second, as we go on down the line. Brother Barry, I was telling the folks that we haven't linked up yet, because you've been in the lab cooking up on some watch material, and you had some business to take care of. So I understand you got that business, and you doing your thing over there. You ready for it? You ready to launch it? What's going to come out today or tomorrow?
Well, it's already launched. It launched at midnight, and
Okay.
so the beta's up and running. We had just been and with the beta testing, I've just been adding some little slight touches as we go on, so people be able to check it out. So different ways to navigate the app, color schemes, and different pages. There's just a lot that goes to social media that you don't pay attention to because you're just on it. And so it's just a lot of things. Even before I got on here, I was just sitting there like, wait a minute, I need to figure out a different way to do the button scheme. And what I mean by that is, if you look at your Facebook page, there's a certain way that the the instruction buttons go. It's all at the bottom. And then you have things that's on top. But then if you notice on the sides, typically the sides are set for advertisement. Matter of fact, if you give me permission to share, I can show you what it looks like if you want me to.
Go for it.
Let me see if I could pull it up here. Hold on a second here. All
You
right.
got it.
So I'll go back to the top so people can see what it's, and I explain it to people a little bit better. Functionality and things of that nature. Hold on a second here. So folks can see
All
it.
right. Sister Rashi, morning to you. How you doing?
I does, brother. I'm here with all my family, my everybody in one room. My sister, my daughter, my granddaughter. We all in here listening to music, chilling. But so I'm actually very interested in web development and what it takes to create an the interface for an app. Most people just you right, Thomas. We just push the button. We don't understand that that button could be round or square or rectangle with the round over edges. It could be, So yeah, I'm here steady listening to Brother Barry as always.
There he is. All right, bro. You got it. It's up.
All right, so the home screen, this is like what you'll see when you log into it. I didn't go into the login page, but to just make it quick, it's just a nice blue background with the watch with the logo, and then it's a green button that tells you to either log in or sign up. But when you come in, you automatically come onto this feed page. Now you see how wonky it looks
Mm-hmm.
because I have to figure out what I'm going to do with these buttons right here. And what I'll probably do during the beta is I'll take some feedback from the people. We may just do what Facebook does and just put the prompts all inside of here so you don't see discussions, memes, videos, and articles. But this is what you can do for the moment now. You can post these things. You can post articles. You can post videos. You can post memes. You can post discussions. And I'm kind of upset because it's not showing you guys exactly what it is, but I've already posted all this stuff. And then you can kind of go down the timeline and see what was posted. So you see the video, right? That's from my
Mm-hmm.
YouTube page. You guys see that?
Yep.
And then you can see the articles that that's an article that I posted. And then there's a post, and then you can put memes on it too, right? So you can upload it from your device. This is that's one structure of it. You also can see that you can add friends. I haven't added any friends yet because I'm the only one in the beta space. I will be sending out the invites to those who said that they want to participate in the beta, which will go up to like 10 weeks because we're going to work out all of the kinks to make sure on the back end everything works out. But you see, here's your friends list. You got a friend request, and then you have to find friends. Now on the back end, what you guys don't see is that I had to have them program it to when you share your contacts. What happens is the people, you can send friend requests to your contacts to get people to sign up for the app, and then you'll get a discount on your subscription anytime that you do that. So that'll be cash back, or if you get enough cash, we'll send you out a sweatshirt, we'll send you out a hat, we'll send you out a t-shirt or a coffee mug. Choice is your own, right? If you get enough people to sign up. The other thing too is on the back end, what you don't see, just like social media does, is that by your zip code, we'll try to see if you know certain people in your zip code to suggest friend requests and pop-ups just like Facebook do too, right? And then here's the history. Now, this history is peaceful. I love this piece. I'm gonna keep this how it is that you can look up police stops just by typing in the city, right? The precinct number, or just notes in general. And it'll pull up once we start recording and going live, you'll be able to pull up other people's recordings. What we do have on the back end that you don't see on this part is it does have the facial recognition, the voice recognition. It does have that coding. Now here's a camera right here. So I'm gonna see if they allow this to come on while I'm on here. They probably won't. But the camera, typically, if I wasn't on StreamYard, would come on. And if you're using your phone, you can flip the camera around and then do share everything else too. Now, with that, when the camera is on, it also lets you know that you can also use the panic button feature. And that panic button feature is voice automated. When you do hit the panic button feature, typically what happens is the SMS message goes out to all family and friends, letting them know your location, letting them know that it's emergency happening and to call 911. Unfortunately, we have not been able to get situation where we can connect directly to the police, but I feel like I will create that process too as we get this thing going further along and more people going on. However, family and friends can notify law enforcement, and we will make sure that we figure out a way to get law enforcement on this thing too. So that's a lot of stuff, y'all, on the back end that I'm working with. It's tedious. It's very tedious, y'all, and um, it's just one of those situations where, you know, the grind is real. Like when I tell you I didn't go to bed until 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, because I was working on the back end situation of this, and I'll continue to work. I got to step out with Lee and go. And part of the reason why I'm going to continue to work is because it's live now. When people start getting their codes, they can go directly into it. They can start recording interactions with law enforcement and other people. They can start posting articles. They can start sharing videos. They can start doing all of those things. Oh, and you can also break out into groups too. That's the other piece that I forgot. You can message people, inbox people too. Same thing you do on Facebook, but I promise you, it's going to look different. And then what I should have showed you guys is those blank sides. Typically on Facebook, that's all of the messages. So that's why it looks so wide and not short in like Facebook. We'll get there. You'll see once it goes live, you'll see law firms on one side and therapists on the other side, and they'll be advertising their firms based off of your geographical location. And then we'll also have a lot of other things that'll be advertising podcasting and things like that. You know, we'll probably get some for Real Radio set up as far as podcasting, and then that'll be another part of the platform. People will be able to share podcasts and other content. Different from Facebook, you won't have people selling you clothes, dating matches. You won't have people trying to sell cars. You won't have folks trying to,
Gutter guards.
it won't be no, I ain't got no games, y'all. I'm not putting no games on none of those things, but you can have real conversations when the video is up and running. You'll be able to have that conversation with people while the video is going live. And like I said, again, the facial recognition software will work. Some of the stuff that you will see on the side too is missing women and children. So when we start getting that database in, so you'll be able to see missing women and children. And then the other side of it too is, remember, this app was designed so that you can be notified of officers who have violated citizens' rights. So when you go into certain precincts, even if we don't have no advertisement, guess what you're going to have? You're going to have those cop cards on that side. Bam, that's going to be to the right. And to the left is going to be missing women and children. And so those things will be going as you scroll. You'll get a new one, a new one, a new one, a new one. And then each precinct you go to, you'll see it. And then it'll look a little different once you start looking on your mobile phone. So that's what a brother's been working on. It's just a lot of back end work. And when you do the back end work, even though I'm calling into plays, I have to call into place, take a look at it and say, oh, that's not working that way. Let me do it this way. I think I need the button to look this way. This looks too bland. I need some color right here. And so you'll see it get colorful. You'll see a lot of other things added, but your boy is grinding. So anybody who say that this wasn't real, because I had a lot of doubters. And people would tell me funny stuff like, hey, will nobody believe in the idea, or will nobody do this if because they don't fund ideas and things of that nature. And I want to be the first to tell y'all that no, they do fund ideas. Every day somebody's getting money off an idea. Somebody got $3 million off of the I think it was the Raheem app, and he didn't produce an app whatsoever. And he got $3 million. He went on shopping sprees. He Ubered it up. He was renting mansions and the whole nine. And what we simply did is, even if I stopped today, I got more than a Raheem app. Right now, if I just stopped, we still have the ability to put the database up. We still have the ability to do all of those things. So everything I told you that was going to be a part of this app will be there. You'll see the therapist feature and the lawyer feature towards the end, as well as the ability to do fundraising. So you don't have to do GoFundMe anymore. So we'll have that on this particular app. So you can fundraise for funerals, lawyer costs, if a family is finding some financial hardship due to bail or whatever the case may be, because this happened on the app and we've seen it and it goes viral. Then we want to make sure we help these people out. The goal is not to be nosy and talk about folks and their downfall. The goal is for this to be a social app for substance. We got way too many people who should be happy that court ruled that they got to give that money back for SNAP, because it was about to be ugly out here. And what I mean by ugly is y'all keep flossing in front of these people. who ain't got nothing. Y'all keep partying in front of these people who ain't got nothing. When they start, listen, I used to be one of them people. I tell you, man, a gun, trust me.
What they say?
Whew.
When the heap start working, I'm gonna rob me a person.
Hey, listen, man. Hey, listen, y'all play them games. You can do all that psychological babble with somebody else. Hey, when somebody hungry and they see you eating, or they see you don't care that they ain't eating, then they'll figure out a way to make you put you on the plate. And so we want to make sure we do that. And one last thing too, I want, because we're not going to talk about it, but I do want to point out there was a video, and I'm going to share it during the beta, of this officer inside of Baltimore who chased a young man with his car.
Yeah,
If you
we
watch,
were going to talk about that, so you can go ahead because I couldn't let that pass and have you on that.
so
How that
so
gonna
the,
work?
so the intentionality was for him to kill him. Like
Hmm?
let's be real. He had murder on his mind. He was going to kill that young man. Them saying they suspended him, that does nothing. Now here's the irony of it. Maryland is one of those states where you cannot record law enforcement. So the watch app can't work in Maryland. You can use the panic button, but you cannot use recording. And if you do use the recording, they'll say it's illegal. So here's the thing: the video that we saw with that officer, what they will say is, well, he didn't know he was being recorded. No one has the right to record him. You know, you got to let them know that they're being recorded, et cetera, et cetera. He'll get a suspension. But what we've seen is that's what the citizens in Baltimore goes through all the time. Let's go back to Freddie Gray. That's why folks were out there protesting. That was George Floyd before George Floyd, right? This is why people get sick and tired. This is why Black leadership has to stop bootlicking and kissing behind anytime a police officer does something. I can see some old Negro sitting out there right now saying, but what about Black on Black crime? You know, Black folks done more stuff to each other than white people have, and we got the nerves to want to protest, but we didn't protest when the little sister got shot at the corner store. We know. But the difference is that the people who killed the little sister at the corner store, they weren't getting paid taxpayers' dollars. They didn't swear oath to protect and serve. Right? They don't get to die with a pension. They go to jail, they go to hell, or you know what I'm saying, or something like
You
that.
sure right. But
But
guess what, Brother Barry? The cops is going to jail too now.
that's
They just
right.
got old boy.
But you got
The
to
one that
understand.
came in the kitchen, and that lady,
But
when she said, the devil is a lie, rebuke that,
talking about
and he
Osama
shot.
Johnson. So,
Yeah, they got him. They got him.
so you got to understand two things with that. The first thing is that his partner testified on him, and that the sheriff was intentional on firing him and prosecuting him. That does not happen in all of these cases. When you see this guy got suspended in Baltimore, or it's clear on video, that is a sign that the police department is siding with that cop. He won't get fired. He won't go to jail. He won't get charged with attempted murder, because that's what that is. He was trying to create
I don't know about that. I disagree with that.
Okay. All right. Well,
I disagree. I
I'm good.
disagree with that one. Um, More on principle than anything else. Knowing Brandon, Mayor Brandon Scott, uh, understanding where he has come from. Now, I understand he's a politician now, so I dig that he has to play the game. I dig that he has to play the game, but I also see this as him not and him understanding that this is not a good look. So him not
Mhm.
taking this lightly, that's why I started and I paused, but also him understanding this is not a good look at all. He was already in a heated battle last election for re-election. In this moment where the Republicans have forgotten that they are the party of law and order, in this moment where he has stood up for so many others,
Mhm.
how do you walk away with this? I'm sorry, walk away from this. I'm sorry, and not having stood up for the common Joe or Jane in your city that is constantly being lobbed under the bus by the president of the United States of America. I see this as not. I see this potentially not being a huge dismissal, but I see this cat going away. I see this cat going away.
Well,
So
I would
could
say
be
this.
wrong.
I would say this much. Typically, when the signs of it is that they get fired right away, and then you
Right,
just with the union. A
right,
suspension, that means that there's going to be some type of excuse. And here's the thing. Let's say they do fire. Let's say they do fire, right?
right.
Fire him and not charging him is two different things. Because he can get fired. That means that, he won't get his pension, and that's on his record or whatever the case may be. Now, the other side of it, another police department outside of Maryland or outside of Baltimore could rehire him. Hence what happened to Sonya Massey. The previous officer, he was fired from where he was at. They said he wasn't fit to be a officer in the first place, and then he was hired in the city where Sonya was at. That's why he was able to have the job. And so you have to understand that sometimes when these officers go from city to city, their
It's
record.
because of stuff like that. But
Hmm?
Thomas, I see that being the play. I see the play being he's fired,
Yeah.
no formal charges coming from to him from the city. I see, I ain't calling no names, but I see some folks that I know taking it up civilly. I
Hmm.
can, yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely see this being taken up civilly. Him
Yeah.
losing the civil case, and um, the city paying out, but he's gone. He's gone from the city. Brandon, his administration is absolved because he was dismissed. Ivan may not pick it. Ivan Bates is the state's attorney. I'm sorry. I'm throwing out names that you all don't know. Ivan may not pick it up and prosecute it. Just because you're on that line, right? So just like you said, Maryland is a state, Baltimore City and Maryland where you can't use video.
Mhm.
Maryland is a state that's very union heavy. So they may not want to tick off the union. Okay, cool. So they dismiss him. State doesn't pick it up. But then civil lawyer comes in. I could do three of them off the top of my dome right now that would chomp at this.
Yeah.
Get the settlement from the city, get a settlement from him,
Hmm.
and move on. That's how I see it playing out.
Well, you know what? And that may very well be the case of how it will play out. The issue that I have with all of this, and this is the reason why I started the watch, was that the idea of the loss of Black life can always be settled with dollars, or the
Correct.
violation of Black people's rights can always be settled with dollars. And
And
when
folk need to stop taking those dollars.
people
Folk
need
need
to
to stop.
Yeah, because what happens is when you take those dollars, it typically becomes you have to stop talking about the situation and you have
Yep.
to let it go, right? So that's one side of
Yep.
it. And then the other side of it too is that, the person or the family still have to deal with the horror because this young man has to think about that day that he almost lost his life in his car. We don't know what's going on psychologically. It does not come with any mental health or therapeutic services for the lifetime of that individual who was chased. It's just a simple
Here's
check,
your money. Go away.
and then he could land on another police force, and then he could actually end up taking a life, similar to what happened in the Sonya Massey situation, similar to the situation inside of Ohio with Tamir Rice, where that officer also was fired at another police force inside of Ohio, and the previous police chief that he worked under said he was not fit to be a cop anywhere, and that he was saying as much, and they still hired him in Toledo nonetheless. So what I'm saying is, I definitely get where you're going. I understand the politics behind it, but if you are a citizen, those politics, it does not bode well, and
Not at
people
all.
take those markers, and like you just stack those logs until things erupt again, and then when they erupt, then we're saying, "Oh man, did you see? Why is it like this? Why is it this and that and other?" And it's like,
I
man,
can't believe.
yeah, yeah, you can't. You
What
mad
you
these
mean?
people because these folks in Baltimore probably already got another 10 stories that we have not seen. Similar, right? They got 10 stories. So this is the 11th. And so when it gets to 20, when it gets to 30, and then they're like, yo,
What
y'all
you
ain't
think will
gonna, then they're gonna tear things up. And then what they're gonna do is they're gonna roll out old Black leadership. And I'm gonna tell you,
Or they gonna call your boy Benjamin Crump. They gonna call Benjamin Crump.
Nah, they don't need Ben Crump. So we already have um the Warrior lawyer, Jay Wendell Gore, and he's been on the show. Great friend of the show. the Honorable Murphy, Bill Murphy. We got we it's a couple of cats. We don't need Ben Crump in Baltimore. He can stay where he's at. There's enough firepower in house already to handle things like that, and they don't want to see quite a few of those cats in court. Not at all. You don't want to see that. Not at all.
And let me say this too, because we got to remember Ben Crump typically comes from the family, not the city, right? And
Right.
when you think about those payouts, what's often missed is that the fact that the dollar comes from the citizens. That's the one piece. When they say we ain't got money for public safety, well, how much money did the city pay out towards these type of lawsuits? When they say we ain't got money to for better lighting, oh, how much money did you put towards these payouts? We ain't got money
Mm-hmm.
for youth programs to hire folks. Well, how much money did you pay towards what? Paying out of these payouts. We don't got money to clean the streets. We ain't got money to hire more city employees or give city employees a raise. You got to understand, a budget is a budget. They could tell you, well, this is allocated over here and that's allocated over there. Yes, but it's all one pot of money. And when you start losing money out a particular pot, they start drawing money from other pots. And so,
Yep.
what I'm fearful of under the Republican regime that we have now with Trump is that they've already signaled that this is okay behavior. This is the president who said, I'm going to give people the ability to purge. I want folks to understand what the purge is. We're gonna, man, we should give people an hour or two and allow them to
Just
purge.
a little time. Just a little time. You know.
You know,
Just a little.
and people just be like, well,
24 hours.
they'll just play that off, and then it's like, well, when he really do it, what y'all gonna say then? Because y'all keep on saying this man playing. Oh, he don't mean that, man, buddy. He means it. He
Hey,
means it.
if he don't take food out our mouths, he do mean it. Like for real, shutting off them stamps, shutting off health care, shut redistricting education the way he doing. You can believe. You can believe. But I want to tell you though, we are supposed to bankrupt cities who do not have an anti-murder clause. If you have state or city sanctioned assassins that wear the same uniform that go out and prey amongst into the population, and the population can say, "Ow, you killed me. You took the main breadwinner out of our family. You took only my son, my only child son out. It ended my genetic lineage." Stuff like that. We supposed to be able to get some kind of compensation for it. And I hate that you're right, brother, that that's taxpayer money, that's some kind of like it's an insurance claim that gets paid out by the city. But until they get tired of filing that paperwork and start doing some type of sensitivity training amongst that state-sanctioned fascist assassination militia they got, then uh, yeah, run me my munyan, run me my coins. I'm calling Ben. I'm calling Ben, and I'm a sycamore over and over again until somebody find out who actually killed Freddie Gray. Because as of now, that boy was murdered without a murderer. He's the first person I ever heard of in my life in the hands of several people dead, and nobody he was in the hands of killed him. But he could not have killed himself. So
Right.
stuff like that has to be paid for, so that if nothing else, the family can decide to create a organization. You know what I'm talking about? Where the family start
Mhm.
something where you can they can take that money and start investigating the phenomena, or
So,
they can do what you're doing, Barry. Fund an app that's going to deal with the actual events. So the
mhm.
money has to transfer, though, y'all. I mean, you cannot kill my son If you kill my son, I'm coming. Like period. I don't understand what any other way could be. If my son is slain by a cop who has already been he got a review in his file and all that good shit, then I'm not gonna stop. I don't care what the fraternal order of police do about that. I'm coming with somebody, if not being Dan or Rick, somebody's coming with me to come see about financial compensation for what was lost when you took a precious life. And that's all they, so until we start really negotiating with these cities and explaining to them that when you gun your citizens down, you could potentially defund your city. Maybe that is the push, Barry. Maybe that's the sensitivity training workshop that cops gonna have to go to so they can understand when you're done with your glory kill. Uh, you have to pay insurance to do that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do they care though? I mean, again, you're subjecting a lot of folk, specifically in the inner cities, to folk whom do not live in the inner city, have
Mm-hmm.
never lived in the inner city,
Mm-hmm.
know very little about the culture of the inner city,
Mm-hmm.
but they come in like bodega owners. They come in like, that's not true. I wouldn't say bodega owners because I think bodega owners are still connected to the community. But a lot of these corner store owners, a lot of these liquor store owners, a lot of these Asian Americans whom the hair product owners, store owners who come into the inner city with no connection at all except to make money. They
Mm-hmm.
take that money, they go back to the suburbs where they live,
Mm-hmm.
they eat with their families, they go to sleep, they wake up, and they do it again.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no connection to anything happening in the city except for it's viewed as an ATM. It's a place they go to get money. They do nothing else there. They go back to the burbs.
Mm-hmm.
So do they care? Do these men and women that wear the uniform day in and day out, do they care about the citizens that, to Brother Barry's point earlier, they have sworn to protect? I don't. I can't answer that. What I
They
see
supposed
though,
to
is
be.
they
They're
don't
supposed to
because
be the citizens. You're not supposed to be able to hire a cop from Neverland and have them come in every day.
that
Your
depends on where you
police
live.
force is supposed to be comprised of citizens who care to help within the population of people being policed. That is
The,
actually the law in most places. You can't come from nowhere and police like that unless you're the military and you've been called in like National Guard.
Yeah.
okay, that's not true. Maybe in the places that you're familiar with, but in most places that is not true. In most places, they will hire you regardless of your zip code
Yeah.
because they need the help on the streets. There are some places that are very explicit in saying if
Yeah.
you want to work for the city, then you must live in the confines of the city.
Yeah.
But that is not most places anymore. Those days have long gone. Some places will, most places don't.
Well,
Um,
what's old about
but
it is that they use this idea that it's a shortage of people that want to be police officers. Here's the truth. The shortage comes because of the relationship that most people have in the inner city with the police. It's the relationship. Like you the same person that's giving you baseball cards, the same person that's giving you football cards and maybe give you ice cream and maybe give you a couple, like they give bikes away in the summertime. That's when you're 10 years old. When you become 12 to 16, your next encounter that cop is a slap upside your head, a boot up in your ass, right? That cop is calling you
from
every
officer friendly to
man.
God,
Yeah, that cop is calling you everything but a child of God. And then we turn around and we say, well, this is happening because people are trying to deter people from being cops. No, the interactions between law enforcement and the average citizen is what deters people. Why do you think people are not joining the military? You go back to Vietnam and those people whose fathers and grandfathers were in Vietnam and they seen how the government pushed them to the side, right? That slows down enrollment. Does not mean that people will not serve the military. It just means that if you treat people better, your numbers will look better. If everybody had access to the GI Bill at one point, great. If everybody was getting their 100% benefits because they've had some type of medical ailment because they served in the war, they served overseas and had to deal with the idea of the risk as well as the physical and psychological toll that it puts on you to be in the military, from the training to the chemicals and other things that you got to take, because you do know that they put them in the situations where they, you see somebody in the military, that pepper spray does nothing to them because they go through a drill where they spray them with it and they have to learn how, and that changes your body makeup. And people don't understand that changes the chemical makeup in your body. That could have long-term effects, but they don't pay those people out. So let's say that brother that's a veteran in the military, he doesn't get his full payout. He's struggling with his bills. Psychologically, he can't work a normal job. Psychologically, he can't even be around his family. And then his physical self is breaking down. Why would his 5 sons want to say, I'm going to go serve for that? Right? Or think about, I'll give you a good example. Let's think about LA, where the father of those 3 guys in the Marines that got the shit kicked out of them by ICE. Why would that father who has 3 sons that's in the Marines, who may have, let's say, he got 6 grandchildren. Why would any 6 of those grandchildren want to serve this country now? Our fathers are in the Marines. This is how you treated our grandfather, because we don't have white skin, because he speaks with an accent. Why would we want to serve? That's what hurts recruitment. It's not the position per se. It's the relationship that happens after the encounter. So for me, Sister Rashi, and I wanted to point out, in Chicago, where the young man McDonald, I remember his last name was McDonald, got killed, that showed me the ugly side of all of this. People don't know that he didn't have a relationship with his family. He got killed. He was having a mental health breakdown. He was running on the highway and he was unarmed and the police gunned him down. But the payout went to who? They say your next of kin. Well, guess what? He didn't have a relationship with his next of kin. He had foster family. And the next of kin got the payout and they took hush money. So you never really heard about anything with the story until the video came out later on. And once that video came out, there was no discussion because they already took the money. And once they took the money and everybody saw the video, they was like, you took what? Man, listen, this video right here, y'all got chump change. But them dollars treating black bodies and the loss of black bodies as if it's a lottery ticket has also.
But that's what they told us. That's what Lee told us. Get your insurance. You're going to die. Get the thing. You're going. This.
But,
Get the.
that's a little different than you dying of natural death.
Yeah, right.
That's a little different. Don't take a short pay fall. I'll give you one last example when I stop. Dante right here, he died like a little bit after George Floyd, and the mom could have broke Brooklyn Center. She could have broke Brooklyn Center. Ain't no way possible a jury of these cops' peers, because the officer was convicted, would have not paid them the amount of money that George Floyd got paid, because the precedent was set. It was already set, because that's still the Twin Cities. It's still Hennepin County. Oh, they could have got 28. They could have got 30. And I don't know necessarily what it was, but I know it wasn't in that ballpark range. The point of what I'm saying is, when we take the money, and I know I get the pain part. Now, don't let me make sure I understand that I'm being sensitive to people. I understand sometimes you want things to go away because you got to go through it. But man, we got to fight harder, because if we don't say sometimes, yeah, the money's cool, but I want absolute change to make sure nobody else goes through this. Where we do have laws like you talking about, Rashi, like, no, the cops need to stay. They have to be neighbors.
I need to go to Marlon's comment before we go much further.
Yes, sir.
And I need to go to this because I felt this in more ways than one. As a veteran myself, this is a true statement. He says, being in the military is rewarding but stressful as hell. Every time I deployed, I had to understand I might not come back home. Now, I need you all to understand that. I need you all to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
This man is saying every time he went to work, because deploying is nothing more but going to work. Every time he went to work, he had to be concerned about never coming home again.
Mm.
Never coming home again.
Mm.
That is a very stressful environment for a young person.
Mm-hmm.
That is a very stressful environment for a grown person.
Mm-hmm.
That is a stressful environment, period.
Mm-hmm.
And you're asking folk whom um, are thousands of miles, hundreds of miles, whatever, from
Mm-hmm.
anything and everybody that they know to do this at a very young age. Remember, the military is a young person's game. They
Mm-hmm.
kick your ass out after 20 years. You know, you max out at 30 for
Mm-hmm.
most people. Some people able to get a little more than 30, but most people, you only do 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
Most people join when they're 17, 18, 19 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So, relatively speaking, by the time you're 50, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
And 50 is a high number. Most people punch at 20.
Yeah.
So, usually between the time you're 37 to 40, you're
Mm-hmm.
done.
Mm-hmm.
You've lived a whole life, because you have deployed, you've moved from this place to that place, back
Mm-hmm.
to this place, back then again over to this place. You've moved several times. You just uprooted, totally uprooted. And nobody does that like members of the military. Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we could discuss the fact that members of the first responders have that type of stress on them, because you're right, they do never know when they walk out of their home if they're going to return to home, but they ain't worried about an IED. They're not worried about Rodney launching a plane somewhere and that carrying an MOB, and that MOB dropping out the sky and blowing them the hell up. They ain't worried about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they worried about getting shot. Yeah, they may be worried about getting stabbed,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not worrying about, on average, per norm, a sniper a mile away
Mm-hmm.
with the 50 cal Barrett just waiting for them to walk across the street to take them out. They're not worried about that. They are not the same. They may be similar to some degree,
Mm-hmm.
but they not like us. They not like us. They not like us. They don't have to deploy to a foreign land where nobody speaks their language. They don't have to be. I met a young man at the airport. He just got an AIT. He's going to his first duty. He's going to Fort Hood. So I told him about Vic. It's like, yo, look up Vic when you get there. Just tell him you met me. That's all you need to know. He'll take care of you, right? But I pulled him up just like anytime and every time I see any young person in uniform. It's like, hey, man, watch your six. Even in America, watch your six. There are some sick people out here. Just because you wear their uniform, they will go after you. Don't ever get that comfortable to where you're not paying attention to your six. Trust what I'm saying to you. Very tough lesson for me. Got off that plane in the UK. I'm in full guard. I
Mm-hmm.
got off that damn plane. Somebody rushed up on me, grabbed me, pulled me to the side. Like, hey man, you might want to take that off. I was like, what you talking about? You might want to take that uniform off. This is not America. And I immediately went into the restroom, went into the big stall, stripped, pulled something out my damn duffel bag, wrinkle crinkle like all giddy up, threw that crap on, and came out looking like a fresh new man. Because I saw something I'd never seen in my life. I saw police officers walking through an airport with fully automatic weapons. Fully automatic weapons walking through an airport. I had never seen that in my life. This was 1992. Yeah, I'd never seen that in my life, dog. This was pre 9/11. This was just regular schmegular. Hearing about it and seeing it, two different damn things. ain't worried about it when I'm strapped too. But I just got off a plane. I wasn't strapped. I wasn't ready for that. You know, I'm barely 18 years old, dog. And I'm speaking of, one of these jokers walking around with a huge freaking German Shepherd. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm talking foot gun strapped to his chest, sidearm over here. I'm like, what the hell did I just walk into? And again, I'm barely 18 years old, dog. Don't nobody prepare you for that. Nobody prepares you for that. And then they tell you, welcome, get to work. And you better get your ass to work. And you better do your job. And your focus better be on your job. It can't be on the crib. It can't be on your mama and them. It can't be on your cousin and them. It can't be on none of them. It better be on that job because there's hundreds, if not thousands, of people that depend on you doing your job. There are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars worth of equipment that you are given to do your job. And if you don't do that, there's hell to pay. Potentially loss of life, definitely loss of liberty, because they will throw your ass in Leavenworth in a heartbeat. That's something beat into you, brother Barry. You was talking about, the mental state, man. That's something beat into you from day one. That UCMJ ain't no joke. They talk to you about that UCMJ damn near every day, 3-4 times a day, to remind your ass that they will throw you in prison if you do anything wrong. And again, you talking about a young person being exposed to this again, and again, being reminded you will have federal charges, you will do federal time, you will be unemployed. You understand the psychological warfare that's going on in your head? I don't give a damn where you from. I don't give a damn what you've been through. That's some shit. When you sit down and you sit in that and you stew in that. Yeah, man, that's crazy. That's crazy. I'm
And,
sorry.
and keep in mind too, that fear, that chemical, that
Yes.
impacts the body. That impacts the body. And so those are the aspects when we talk about the dollars. It's like, yo, you can give me $2 million, but if I'm insane, do I really enjoy it? If I'm sick, can I really enjoy it? And then my family can take the money, but let's be real. My contributions is probably going to be a little bit more than those dollars, because what human beings contribute to each other with memories and moments and things of that nature is more precious than the dollars that are often cashed out. And that's what we're seeing currently right now with the military now. Look at how they're talking to these guys. Look at how, they bring in even the leaders and telling them that they're out of shape. And it's a form of verbal abuse.
The Department of War. It's not the military, sir. It's the Department of War.
See,
I need you to be clear about this.
What I've learned a long time ago is like, hey, when they say stuff, you just keep it. Hey, I have no pronouns for a reason.
You better be listening.
Because you have to stick to the idea of, okay, that's what you're doing. Doesn't mean that's what I'm doing. And we have to be comfortable to say, like, yo, I'm good. Some things don't need to be changed. When you get out of there, it's going to go back to the Department of Defense.
Right, there you go. Right.
It's going to go back to the Panama Canal. Okay. And
the Gulf of Mexico.
And the Gulf of Mexico. So those things will change with all of that radical executive order pensmanship that you're showing. But, I think it's more important, though, to also point out that, going back to, the overall story, and to Rashi's point, that there should be laws on the books across the land that you have to be within a certain distance of the community that you work with. And then it should be mandatory that you spend a certain amount of community hours in the areas that you service, so that people can know exactly who you are and what you are. Creating this app has nothing to do with being anti-police. The app is a tool. The app is a tool to make sure that people get due process, that we help people who are not getting due process, and we make sure that we track these police officers who have violated citizens' rights, so that if they do go to another precinct, if they do go somewhere else, that those citizens that are in that precinct know who those officers are, so that they know how much money they potentially going to have to spend as taxpayers, and then the other side of it too, that they can make sure that they protect themselves and their civil liberties at all times. That's important. And we when we talk about a lot of things in this country, but those civil liberties, man, I'm learning as they're trying to snatch them away day by day, breath by breath, that we really have taken those things for granted.
So, Rodney Smith is on with us this morning. We got a couple minutes before the 11 o'clock hour, and then we can really hit it. Um, I want us to really dive into the fact that Tuesday is voting day in America. We talked about, and we will dive deeper into the SNAP benefits. Let's go into Brother Barry's favorite topic with Jeffrey Weinstein,
Epstein.
Epstein, Weinstein. Where the hell I get that from? Epstein and J.P. Morgan's warning to the Trump administration. Uh, Follow up with Argentina as well. That we can tie that into the voting situation because voting did happen in Argentina like this week, Tuesday, and we can go from there. But Rashi, I wanted to ask you a question before we really got into the meat and potatoes. As we're at the 32nd day of the governmental shutdown, has this impacted your district? Are they talking crazy talk that coming you all's way maybe,
Well,
or
I would
are
like
you?
to pose that as actual meat and potatoes, because the meat of the problem is what are you going to do with, especially if they have any kind of learning disability, physical ailment, or if they require services above and beyond that of a general contract teacher. Now, in general, a
Can't
teacher's
hear you, sis.
contract. You can't hear me?
Yeah, move
Oh,
closer to your mic. You're
I'm
really
right.
low.
I'm right. I'm
There you
right
go.
here. I'm so
There you go.
sorry.
There you go.
In general, pardon me for that. In
No, it's all right.
general, a teacher makes a contract with, yes, her eminent district, but each district must create a liaison with the actual state of this, a state. So what you're asking me is, has a federal issue made its way into the state coiffeurs? Now, what I have come to find is there was monies that we were supposed to be able to use in the classroom
Mm-hmm.
that we are not receiving.
Mm.
So you'll make an Amazon order for a half human body and such and such and such, and they will process. It's the little thing so you can teach anatomy and physiology. The
Oh,
half
I got,
the half man that don't have no legs. Come on now,
I
not a,
got you.
and in my instance, actual animal cadavers, because I'm a anyway. I don't want to venture off, but it might be to ask according on par with the conversation. So when you put the order in for scalpels, some blah blah blah, you put the order in. You can wait upwards of 4 to 6 months for those items to arrive. And what happened with me was I put that order in last year. I just got it this year. So what has happened is there are people who are supposed to sanction district-wide spending for the teachers. Those people don't work anymore. It's down to the skeleton crew. And so as long as you have a skeleton crew, even if it's yes, time turns it into no. Because the thing you ordered was for the very next unit. But if
Mm.
it don't show up for that unit, it forces you to either go into your own personal money and figure that out, or it forces you to alter drastically how and what you teach so that it can go according to the budget with the items that you have in your face. Now, what does that mean for us? That means that you have to do what I did. When I did not have enough cadavers, I went to my local university, the one I graduated from and gave all that damn money to. I went to my alma mater and I told them about my situation about not having what I needed for the up and coming students, baby. I got your next batch, baby, your next catch, ka-ching ching, and they're not going to be able to learn because we don't have our resources. I was able to make a connection with a young lady who gave me what the university did not need or use. I also was able to do that at my local community college. So what happened was I got pieces of models. I've got a few cadavers. I got posters. I got slides. I got a couple of microscopes. But what I did was willing to make those connections so I could harvest what I need in the classroom from the networks that I had built when I was cashing them fools out with all them student loans. So what you have to be willing to do then to combat this imminent actual shutdown uh is make your connections because there's surplus in some places. You just have to ask for it. Now, what's going to happen real deal is in the cafeteria, Lee. All right? Because now when you cut SNAP, you actually also have a
You want to get back to the
significant.
mic, Rodney? Rashi, get to the
I'm
mic.
right here. I'm right here at the mic. I'm right at the mic. Okay. The phone is all the way up and I am
Oh, that's
at the
better.
mic.
That's better right there.
What happens when you play with Snap is you also it's a USDA game. And so you're going to significantly affect even the food that's received by children in the schoolhouse. So what I'm looking for is not are they not going to send me some more of them raggedy ass textbooks that nobody opens up. The issue is going to become can I order consumables, which are things that the classroom uses, and when we're done building or growing or fucking whatever it is, it's done, it goes in the trash. And a new round of that has to be ordered in order for the next round of children to be available, to have that activity. That is not a guarantee anymore. So now we're having to figure out just how much the general public cares. Just how much does the general public care about funding a classroom? Can we go to our local church and tell them, sir, can you buy us 10 rats? Can we go to our local whatever? Or, can you figure, hey, at this point, sir, can y'all get together and feed 100 children at this school? Because the portions that they're giving the children are so small that it's still not enough for a child to use their cognitive abilities. So when they get through fucking around with them damn stamps, and because people say I send my baby to school, they gonna eat at school. How about even the portions that they getting at the schoolhouse is gonna be where we see the actual trickle down effect of this shutdown and stuff. So whether they mama got their stamps or not, they thought I'm gonna send my baby to school. But it's not real. And I'm gonna tell you, when they feed them babies pizza, they giving them one slice. How many kids y'all know can get full on one slice of pizza?
True that. That damn
Who?
sure couldn't be me.
One slice. Them kids look at that one slice on that plate, they be ready to hoorah down on the cafeteria lady. But that's what the USDA said they could get. And it's gonna get smaller and smaller and bring your own lunch.
So
What lunch?
okay, so now that you brought that up, perfect timing, especially with Thomas and Rodney being on. So Rodney, you shared already that there's been a increase in requests coming your way for food. Thomas, have you gotten the same?
Yep. Actually, I was on a phone call last night with a gentleman from St. Paul, pastor who actually has a store, and they have means to once things get back up and rolling, they want to see if they can partner as well. People are having this realization, and I've gotten inboxes from people about food and when is it coming back and when are we going to get started again. So I've gotten, and these are different people. These are not people that we've worked with in the past or made requests in the past. So yeah, so it's happening certainly, and I want to piggyback off Rashi, because here our teachers have voted to strike.
Mm.
So imagine, if you have if Minneapolis public schools strike, then now how are those kids are going to eat when Rashi's
Yeah.
talking about those portions are going to be gone? So now if this, let's say the shadow docket of the Supreme Court, if they come and they overrule this federal court inside of New Hampshire, now we're going to have a bunch of hungry Americans. And that's the part that I think that we have not thought about. But yeah, we've gotten, me and Rodney, we talk about this all the time. The request is plentiful. This was the first guy, Rodney, who said, "Hey, how much is it? Oh, that ain't, we can handle that." Right. So
So let me put both of y'all on mute for a second because this is coming from me. I need y'all to be clear about something. My brothers here have been in the trenches making this happen for a minute now. Rodney's been doing it for years. We got together, us three. We got together. We walked the streets, the mean streets of the Twin Cities. And we said, hey, can we do the same thing up here? And Brother Barry was like, you know what? I think we can. So we sat down and we put together a plan. It just so happened we ran into a political figure later on that evening, put some in his ear. He goes, yeah, I think we can work that out. We get back together. Hey, man, I think we got ourselves an inroad. I'm saying this to say we are not against the people. We are totally for the people. Always been for the people. I will say, for me, to y'all, Johnny come latelys, where the hell was y'all at when we was out there struggling? Where were y'all at when we needed volunteers to offload those trucks? Where were y'all at when y'all saw us on TV? Because we've been on TV in the Twin Cities. We've been on TV in Las Vegas. Where were y'all at when y'all saw us on TV clearly taking care of your parishioners? Where were y'all at? Where were y'all at when we clearly said, hey, we can do more if we have a little assistance from the community? Where were y'all at? Now, you take that and you talk about that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever day you have service, you remind your parishioners about that. You remind your flock about that. You call yourself out for not participating when the call was there clearly for you to do such, to prepare folk for what we got going on right now. Now, I'll take y'all two off mute, and y'all can say whatever y'all want to say. Clink, clink, y'all can say whatever. But right now, I needed that to come from me because I remember. And I'm going to tell you now. I told Rodney, the good Lord is preventing me from coming to Vegas. Because if I come to Vegas to stay, it's going to change. I'm telling you, I will retire that man, and y'all gonna have to go through me. And if you think you gonna get from me what you getting from him, man, you got another damn thing coming. Now I will take care of the people. I will be very strategic about the people. But nah, dog. And I ain't got. I have no connections. None. I don't. Man, I'm from New York. I don't need you at all. Just like when I was in Montgomery, Alabama. One of the biggest problems I had in Montgomery, Alabama, I didn't need them. I wasn't in that mix of, oh, this is my man. I don't need you, dog. I am here and I'm going to survive just as fine with you as I would without you. So I will speak it, I will say it, and I will do it in front of your face, because I'm damn sure not doing it behind your back. Or I will do it, make it known where I'm at, just in case you want to come see me. And I'll give you the time too. I'm fine with that. Fine with it. But yeah, I am opposed to the Johnny come latelys because this has been, we made a point, y'all, of making this accessible to anybody and everybody. All we asked for was for a little assistance. Just a little. We did the heavy lifting. Literally and figuratively, we did the heavy lifting. Literally and figuratively. I say all the time. People ask me, yo, did you really enjoy yourself when you went to? No. As soon as I got off the plane, my ass was working. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right. But I accept it as being fact. So I know when I get there, I'm ready to go. I don't mind. I love it. I love it. I don't mind at all. Let's go. Let's make this happen. Because we are about the people. We are for the people. We are against. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got y'all on mute still. I am against the Johnny come latelys. Because when you were invited to the party, you act like you didn't know me. You didn't RSVP. And I know I sent it to your house. I know I sent it to your house. And you just didn't choose to come in. But now, you act like you know. Hey, Lee. Nah, man, I don't no, we don't Lee don't roll like that, guy. Lee don't roll like that. I roll with those who roll with me. Y'all see it. Y'all see it. I post stuff. You support me, I support you. It's easy as hell. It's easy as hell. But don't act like I kept you on the outside just because, I'm not calling you out. I'm sorry. They ain't calling you out. I will call your ass out. And I will show the email thread where I sent it on this day, and there's nothing else. There's nothing else. Until, oh man, I've been meaning it. It's been 4 years, dog. You've been meaning to get back to me for 4 years. Okay, got you. Well, let me get right back to you. Okay, I'll holler. Roddy, have you seen the uptick in the request for your services?
I have seen some agencies contact me for services, but actually, it is not. Some individuals have contacted me, but it happened in one short span of time, and then it stopped, which I was surprised that it actually turned out only to be a total of 4, maybe 5, and that was it. Congressman's office contacted me. Housing authority contacted me. A political operative contacted me, and one person who's worked with us in the past contacted me on behalf of someone else, and nobody offered any money or anything. Well, let me take that back. The housing authority, they said they would take care of what the cost. And it was a sister that reached out to me, but she reached out to me because she knew another sister. We knew a sister in common who she had gone to ask if she knew somebody, and that sister referred me. So, but that was it. And our governor mysteriously found some money after saying that he would not do anything to help. And the people put some pressure, seemingly worked. He found some millions of dollars, might have been hundreds of millions of dollars that he said that he would do. But no one offered that money to me. Some other groups have received assistance and are doing some things, but still none of that newly appropriated money from the governor was offered to me.
So it didn't trickle down? There's no trickle down effect?
There was no drop, no trickle.
All right, so speaking on the SNAP benefits, so we hit it a little bit, but we haven't really gone into it. To hopefully everyone knows that on Friday, federal Judge John J. McConnell, U.S. District Court of Rhode Island, ordered that the administration needs to tap into the emergency reserves to cover SNAP payments as soon as possible come November. This came right before, so I think he got the word before Trump posted on True Social that he'd be glad to fund SNAP benefits if only the judiciary would give him a clear understanding of what he could and couldn't do. He'd be more than happy to do so. Honestly, I did not think this was going to happen until Monday. I thought this was going to be one of those situations where the rush for votes to get votes to energize the base, this was going to be used to do that.
Hmm.
With it being forced upon the administration, I see some steam being let out the sails, if you will, because of that. But regardless, people are going to eat. And we all know that this was a ploy to get people in the streets to act badly in order for full martial law to come down. This follows the order from the president that the National Guard start putting together components for rapid response in case there is or there are nationwide protests and or rioting in the streets. We all know, as Brother Barry said earlier today, you get a starving people out there, they ain't gonna starve for long. Folk gonna eat. Folk gonna find a way to get some victuals. And if they gotta take it, they gonna take it. You do not starve people intentionally because they are going to act out. That's a crazy formula for America. Just think of how many guns we have in our society,
Mm-hmm.
how fluid gun ownership is in our society. That's not a good recipe for civil non unrest. it's that's not a good recipe for folks to stay calm when they are literally starving. I talked to my big brother earlier today. He called me just to check on me. And I asked him, I said, hey, what do you think about the SNAP benefit saga? His immediate response was, hey, man, I understand some people need it, but there's a lot of people out here whom, if they're too lazy or disengaged, they need to get up and get a job. And boom, that's okay. I dig that. But think about this, right? UPS has laid off more people than they thought they were going to. I think they laid off 46,000 people. Amazon is laying off 10,000 people. This is right before the holiday season. Where the hell people going to work at, dog? Notice how quickly jobs are evaporating for humans. Jobs are going away for people, big time. Now, here's the other side. This one Rashi comes in. They're underfunding the Department of Education. They're trying to eliminate training programs. They're trying to eliminate, again, the Department of Education, not just for folks with disabilities, but Project 2020-25 says that it all needs to go away. So how the hell are people supposed to get jobs if they have no education, no training program, and there are no damn jobs for humans? With automation coming into play, with robots doing more, where are people going to turn to be able to afford goods and services? I said, I think I started off with the show before you all came on. You know, cars now cost like 50 grand just for a regular damn car. Have you seen the used car market lately? There's a used car going for 160,000 miles, and the shit's going for 16, 18,000 for a used car. That's a used car. That used to be a brand new Kia Hyundai. You could buy a brand new Kia Hyundai. And the hell, you could buy a Toyota Corolla at that price.
Right.
Brand new. This is a used car with dang near 200,000 miles on it. It could be 7, 8 years old. It doesn't matter. Remember that was the move? Okay, so what? You get a used car but the older you get it, the cheaper it would be because it was old. It don't matter no more. It could be a 10-year-old car, 60,000 miles old, but it's 10 years old. Man, that's $20,000, $23,000 because it has low mileage.
Yeah.
Who cares that it's 10 years old? None of the bells and whistles have been upgraded. None of that crap.
Yeah. Well, that's because of the tariffs. And I think that when you have people, all of this is just like a trap. And it's like a long thought out, planned out trap because Americans are never looking on their plate. You're always looking on someone else's plate. And the plate that people are looking on are wealthy people, thanks to reality TV. Everybody feels like they're part of that group of people, even though their dollars show them elsewise. And so when they have to hear that used car is expensive, it used to be you wanted the car for a good price and you was hoping that it was a cheaper price. But the boast and brag of today is how much something costs you, right? Like how much. So it's the populace. And what I would say to anyone, because I've seen the memes about SNAP benefits and people being on welfare and things of that nature. And I learned this back in college when I was 19. It's simple math. If you just take into consideration what food stamps, now EBT, does for the grocery industry, you know how many jobs that provide? Do you know by providing those particular jobs, how much that influx dollars into the economy, whether it's a tax base or spending dollars? Do you know those same students that Rashi has to teach, their parents may be working at those grocery stores? That allows them to afford school supplies, that allows them to afford clothes, that also gives them medical benefits when they can't really afford this goddamn Obamacare uptick, and they couldn't even afford what it was before then, but they definitely won't be able to afford it now, right? Like that's the level of gross negligence on the behalf of a lot of people. And I would say the social media platforming has fed into this, the lack of empathy for other people. And that's what helped breed this monster we got called Trump. Reality TV and social media at the same point. It is a toxic place because it does not allow you to think about the broader picture for some folks. Now, I will say this much. It would be nice to see the corporations pay their fee. Those lazy corporations, the people that fire folks so that they can report that they have earnings versus actually creating better products so people can buy them. I mean, if we're talking about some laziness, that's lazy right there, right? Like your whole total quarterly report is necessarily is based off of the idea of the money you've made based off you firing other people. And I know everybody's throwing AI in it. AI, automation. That's not where we need to look. We need to look at those greedy ass people who are the shareholders.
American greed.
Because that's really what it's about. It's not about the automation piece. The last time we were in Vegas, Uber has self-driven cars. Okay? Now, let me tell you, do Uber still have drivers in your town? Yes, they do. Have they been investing in automation? Yes, they have. Has that stopped people from driving? No, it has not. Reason being is why? Because the market says people still want Uber drivers, right? Not saying that the automation is not coming, but at the particular moment right now, they still can deal with their client base based off there being a need for the human experience. That's the exact same thing I would say about Amazon, the exact thing I would say about Target. These boycotts, they come with penalties. Think about allowing that loudmouth to talk you into the whole DEI thing, and then you're losing money. Then that same loudmouth comes out and he does the thing with the tariffs. Well, things are so expensive. Guess what? People aren't buying stuff no more. Okay, that's what this is all about. It's all about
Target laid off 1,000 employees.
1,000 employees, right? But hold on. Guess who else laid off 1,000 employees? Huh? The people that's supposed to be the people that's supposed to be guarding the nuclear bombs in the country. And they had 1,800 employees and they laid 1,000 off. What does automation have to do with that? Nothing at all. The point of the matter is, this is how you cripple an economy. And if that's not the conversation, because he's driving the economy into the tank, just like he did the hotels, just like he's done every other business
The
deal.
university, Trump Airlines. I can go on.
What about the football league? Can we talk about the football league that he drove into the ground? Huh? You know, and Herschel Walker is about as dumb as a box of bricks, you know, because he was the one that the first fool, right? And he's still fooling to this day. So I just want to point that out to people is automation is something that they talk about calmly, but this ain't about automation. This is really about shareholders. This is about people trying to have this fake idea of net profits versus saying, what is it costing on the back end? Because when these people don't have those jobs, guess what? They can't put more money into the economy. And this thing is reciprocal. If we put money in, we get money out. We put money in, we get money out. What happens once we stop putting money in? There's no money that comes out.
Rodney says something. He says, look at the unmanned tractor trailers and the number of jobs lost. You're right, bro. Like,
Well,
I never thought that I would see this amount of trucking companies go under and or CDL Class A drivers being laid off. And this crap is becoming dang near every week thing. And I mean, hundreds of drivers are constantly being laid off. And even with the deficit being created by the administration as they try to attack the non-domiciled CDL drivers who don't speak English, that would be a nice amount of people. It will, because I see a lot of folks every day that English is not their first language that are CDL Class A drivers, but it ain't going to be enough to make up the whole being left by the layoffs and or the companies going under.
But Lee, have you seen? So when I was driving Uber and Lyft, I was talking to a driver about a car, about driving, CDL driver, and he was telling me about how it was 5 years ago to how it is now. And people can, once again, because it all goes to AI. I get it. I watched Terminator. I know, but I'm just,
you're an expert. You stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
pretty much my goes, right? But I always try to say, like, don't look at anecdotal. Look at the other things that make sense. With these drivers now, they are chipped up almost. And what I mean chipped up, they have a camera that watches what goes on with them 24/7. They've lost autonomy, and that's part of the reason why they were driving, so they can have the peace of mind and be by themselves. The second thing is they are being clocked more now than ever before. And there's a lot more restrictions, and there's a lot less pay because they're paying out more money on fuel. It's not feasible for them to drive. Now, listen, before we get into automation, because automation will be the answer after. But what we always do is we jump to 10 and we don't go through the steps. Automation is the end goal. What walked us into this? We've never talked about after George Bush and the rise of fossil fuel. How gas prices before he got in was at 75 cents a gallon, and it hasn't came back there ever since. That's never a conversation in this country. When you talk to Iran and you talk to these other people and they're telling you, no, it's still $40 a barrel. We still get the same price. We can't tell you why it's going up. We don't know why these politicians keep telling you that it's on us. Americans like to make excuses for white people's decisions. Black folks too. And the fact of the matter is, this has nothing to do with automation. I mean, it does, but it does not. Automation is a symptom. What is the root cause? The root cause is greed. It's greed.
American greed, yes.
It's greed. And until we start focusing on the idea, and Marlon, shout out to you, because I didn't want your comment to go to waste when you said that you told people that if they could afford other people to help other people with groceries, they should. I agree. I think that's what we're missing in this country. I think because of social media, we're all in a rush to be right versus getting it right. And it's a lot different based off of your verbiage compared to what you do. Because you can say the right thing verbally. I said Trump will be out by October 31st. It's the first. He's still around. I got to take that L. But I'm okay with that. I'm humble enough to say, hey, it was a hunch. the 100 didn't fetch out. But what I see consistently happening on our part is we'll just go take their talking points, we'll regurgitate it, we'll act like it's ipso facto. And then when we find out 20 years later it's not it, we're like, well, yo, it's been in our face the entire time. These bastards just greedy.
Ronnie, bring that up. So you put something in the chat. What was that you said about the price of gas?
I said when I was in the desert, gas was 50 cents per gallon. So while we were paying $3 here, I think it was $3 or $2.50, whatever. It was 50 cents in the desert. And that struck me because I was thinking, how is their gas so inexpensive? And ours is so expensive. And there's a reality, is it goes back to the movie where the guy says greed is good. And as a business, they say, what is the price of your product? It's what the market will bear. So if the market will bear $4 a gallon, then gas is going to be $4 a gallon. And whatever cover story I need to create to make it seem like, oh no, you all have to pay this to cover costs, that people will accept it. Americans are very gullible.
I want to go. Thank you. I appreciate that. So you said that you said predicted President Trump to be out by now. And I think that, speaking of cover stories, I think the shutdown in a lot of ways is a cover for him to still stick around, to be honest with you. It's unfortunate, but when you don't care about the people that you were sworn to serve, then you don't care what happens to them. Uh, there was a story that broke just the other day. J.P. Morgan alerted the Trump administration to $1 billion in suspicious transactions involving several high-profile U.S. business members, as well as wire transfers to Russian banks. Some of those named in that are Leon Black, co-founder of the private equity firm Apollo Global Management, former Museum of Modern Art chairman Glenn Dubin, celebrity attorney Alan Dershowitz, and retail magnate Leslie.
Say that name one more time. What name? Say that name again. Alan who?
Alan Wexner.
I thought I heard Dershowitz.
I'm sorry, Leslie Wexner, Alan Dershowitz. Alan Dershowitz, yes.
That name is important because anytime they need to bring out a puppet, they always got him on the string. Keep going, brother.
No, I'm just saying. So, again, the Trump administration, Trump 1, was notified of this the same week that Epstein passed away back in 2019. And this is just surfacing now, to my knowledge. This is just coming out now that they were alerted to this. I think there's some fissures going on within the party. You can see folks starting to tire of the governmental shutdown on the Republican side. I really do think this is going to end within the next week or so. We are losing money hand over fist. It's getting extremely close, not only to the election, obviously the election is on Tuesday, but also to Thanksgiving and to Christmas. Can you imagine airports and the congestion at airports during the Thanksgiving holiday, which is the largest traveled holiday that we have? And then you roll that into Christmas and New Year's. Man, you talking about bankrupting airlines, hotels, rental car companies. It's going to be a mess. Hotel I'm in right now. So I called. It's like, yo, I know I'm early. Can I, because I changed my flight, so I came out a night earlier. So can I, are there any rooms available? My man was like, yo, there's plenty of rooms available. Come through. Gotcha. Like, oh shit, that's what's up. You know what I'm saying? So that's unusual though, right? It's unusual for you to be allowed to check into a room before 3:00 in the afternoon. It's like, man, we wide open. I checked the parking lot, wide open. I'm not saying there's nobody here, but that parking lot ain't full at all. So, I'm a little posh with mine. I'm a diamond member. And they have a couple of diamond spots. Well, every time I done left this piece and came back to this piece, the diamond spot was still open. And they only got two. So, dog, that's rough. That is rough. The flight out wasn't really packed. Wasn't really packed at all. Curious as to the flight back, but the flight out wasn't really packed. It's a different time, man. Really a different time. It's just a different feel as well. Flight was delayed, like I said, big time coming out, but made it, and that's the most important thing. Definitely was blessed with that situation, that opportunity. Happy to be here, and looking forward to hooking up with you in a very short time. Let's move on to the next thing. So, big time because it's Big Tuesday. Well, not Super Tuesday, but it's a Big Tuesday tomorrow. I think this is the first real test of the current administration and their agenda. This is going to show how engaged Americans are in the system. I personally believe we have some major races on the docket: race for the governorship in New Jersey and Virginia, the mayoral race in New York City, and the redistricting measure that California passed actually goes to the people on Tuesday to see if they want to move forward with that. In New Jersey, we have the Democratic Mikey Sherrill and the Republican Jack uh, Citarelli. If I pronounce your last name wrong, I apologize, my brother. In Virginia, we have Democratic Abigail Spanberger and Republican Winsome Earl Sears. Winsome Earl Sears is a sister, former Marine, current Lieutenant Governor since 2022 in the great state of Virginia. She is on the ticket, yet has not been officially endorsed by Trump for the seat. Now, Brother Barry has recognized and told us that the coronation of Trump was the ending of Black Girl Magic. And if this ain't a slap in the face to Black Girl Magic, I don't know what the hell is.
Oh no,
You got a black woman in your party that you have yet to support for her gubernatorialship race. Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
She's crazy as hell. Now,
Crazy as hell.
Trump is crazy, but he like, man, listen, this might be the one that outfox me. She is crazy as hell. Somebody said she don't even comb my damn hair. Listen, man, that chick, she is the female version of Uncle Ruckus. And part of the problem is that because I saw what she said about the NAACP in Virginia endorsing the white candidate. That's not true. What happened was they invited them both to speak. The sister refused to come. She's like what's the Angela young lady inside of Georgia? Y'all know what I'm talking about. She's always she's like Angela.
The sister that's the state rep.
No, she's not elected official. She just gives a lot of commentary. Angela Statton is her name. And so she's like Angela Statton. She's very conservative, but she's also said things about Trump in the past. And we know Trump got a sensitive ego. And when you trash him, and they got the video of her trashing him, he's not going to endorse her. But she's also, wow. And Trump had his Omarosa moment. And that's another thing that we kind of forget with Trump. We forget that first cabinet. We also know that those sisters that were in that first cabinet, they're the ones that flipped on him because they are the ones that knew about the video of him calling the winner of The Apprentice a nigger. So we have to keep in mind that some of these things are in play, but also some of her policies, some of her disposition inside of the Black community is why she probably won't win. She's looked at as an outsider, not because she's a Republican, but because of some of her rhetoric. It's very, very, it's very, man, y'all. This is one of those ones. She might have outdid the one cat Perry out there. Scott. I think his last name is Scott out there in South Carolina.
Tim Scott.
Tim Scott.
And she hey, man, listen. She make Tim Scott look reasonable. And so when you're in that position, you got to remember Virginia is a commonwealth. So it's,
True
so
that.
it's, so it's a little different. And so when you're in that position and you have a strong population of people who do what? They're former military contractors, former government
Government employees.
who's lost their jobs. I heard you say it's going to be close. It won't be close. She'll lose by landslide because those people know they got those pink slips. So who do you got to vote for? If you're a Republican running in Virginia or the Maryland area, you're wasting your time.
You know, I would hope that to be true. But what we've learned is folks have a tendency of voting against their own self interest to promote white supremacy.
They,
So I don't know how this is going to break, and
well,
that's sad.
they do until
To,
they're
to
hungry. They do until they're hungry or homeless. And people are hungry, and and then they're thinking about the idea that Christmas or Thanksgiving won't be like it was last year. And
true
who
that.
did?
True that.
Why do I got to tell my kids they won't be able to have what I want them to have? Oh, that's the Republicans. Oh, remember that job I used to go to? That was my routine. I used to drive on these days. I used to get my Starbucks at this time. I used to go eat my lunch over at Fridays at this time. Why can't I do that no more? Oh, that's because the Republicans. My kids were in a private school because I had this good government paying job. And then at this point, they got rid of all of us. Why can't I work no more? Oh, that's because of the government, right? And when you are in that position, as we see with the cattle farmers, right? When you're in a position, and we see
Soybean
with
farmers.
the soybean farmers, right? Now people are, remember, they were voting to make sure somebody else didn't have. They didn't know that they were going to be in the don't have market. Now those folks have to come to the realization and switch that anger. And now that anger goes back to who took it from them. So I'm not going to be shocked. Now listen, it's a chance. It's America. There's crazy people everywhere, thanks to Ronald Reagan. But I would say I'd be shocked to see if she has a chance to win or if the Republican Party has a chance to win because of the malfeasance of cutting all of those governmental jobs. And you guys know, being military guys, you know, when folks aren't getting those checks and you're asking people to be out there on the Coast Guards, well, that Virginia is a part of the Coast Guard too, right? Like those are the types of things that you have to keep in play.
So, you know, the military was funded through emergency funds last go around, the folks to get paid. And here we are again, 1 November. Folks should have gotten paid yesterday. I didn't hear they didn't get paid, so I'm thinking it went through.
It did.
But we're about to run up against 15 November in no time. There's only but so many times we can tap funds for emergencies before we got a real damn emergency. And we're not even talking about the hurricane right now, right? Which, big ups to the resilience of the people of Jamaica, big up to the resilience of the people of Cuba, whom are living through the effects right now of the hurricane. Think too, when you talked about Thanksgiving, Walmart has put together a basket, 10 people, $40 for the entire spread for Thanksgiving. Supposed to, yeah, it's a whole basket you can order from Walmart. It's supposed to be enough food to feed 10 people, and it's only $40.
So here, a new store called Aldi's
Aldi, yeah.
have the same deal.
Yep. You're looking at ways for people to be efficient with their money, but this will not look the same for a whole lot of people. To your point, Brother Barry, you're talking about folk whom have had great governmental jobs, whom are looking at possible foreclosure on their homes because they've not been able to make those payments, whom are looking at possible repossession of their vehicle or vehicles because they have not been able to make those payments. Maryland, Virginia, and DC, Pennsylvania are not inexpensive places to have car insurance because of the amount of cars on the road. So Yeah, bro. It's rough and looking rougher out there. But to continue with the elections, New York City mayor is on the docket as well. The ballot. I'm saying docket. Ballot as well. And Mondani is still in the lead. He is the Democratic candidate. Curtis, I want to say Sliwa is the Republican candidate.
Schlewa.
And Andrew Cuomo is still sticking in as the independent candidate.
It's
And
Curtis.
Bloomberg, go
It's
ahead,
Curtis Sliwa. He used to
Sliwa,
be a part of the Guardian Angels back, the founder of the Guardian Angels back in the day.
gotcha. Cuomo got an endorsement from Bloomberg. That is very interesting bedfellows. Very interesting bedfellows as far as I'm concerned. But hey, man, it's politics, bro. You'll put certain stuff to the side in order to further your interests, whatever your interest may be. So I'm very curious as to what Wednesday looks like after this, without a doubt, without a doubt. Rodney, what do you think? What do you think the city's going to do, bro?
Well, New York does have a rebellious side, as we see with the ICE agents that have come to New York, and some of them have been sent packing. I think that Mondani is going to win as a poke in the eye of the POTUS, and potentially can change the game for outside elected officials across the country if they use his campaign strategies as a template.
Okay. Then the big thing is the redistricting measure in California. I think that's going to win by a landslide. I think that's going to win by a landslide. I don't see Californians turning away from that, especially knowing that they're going to be in line sooner rather than later for FEMA support from the federal government, and 9 times out of 10, they're going to be denied because they didn't vote for him. As you've seen him push forward measures for states, people in states that voted for him, yet have denied people in states that did not vote for him. Um, we have a very childish president, apparently. That's how he behaves, so that's what they allow call him. And that's sad, not only for us, but for the world. You know, we used to be that beacon of light, even with and hope, even with all of our differences and imperfections. And right now, it just don't make sense. There's no way around it. I'm not going to say it in another form of fashion. I'm not going to be grammatically correct. I'm telling you what it is. It don't make any damn sense. It just don't.
Hmm.
You know, you got this boy giving 40 billion to Argentina, and it worked. It paid off. Um, Javier Milei won critical elections. Well, his party, I'm sorry, won critical elections on Tuesday just passed that firm up his agenda, their agenda moving forward. But remember, that was after they got an initial 20 billion from the coffers of the United States government and another 20 billion promised to them. So who the hell do you think the people, the regular people, are going to vote for? Do you not think greed also attacked Argentina, and those folks in power told those folks that work for them, you better vote for this joker or else? Do you not think that happened? You know, he comes out after victory and says, I am the king of a lost world. I am the king of a lost world. Boy, if this don't sound like something that Trump would have actually said out of his own mouth, I don't know what is. Rodney, I want to get to this before we wrap up because we got about 11 minutes left, and this really hits in your backyard. On Wednesday, Trump announced and ordered the Department of War, his words, not mine, to immediately start testing nuclear weapons. There's only one center, underground center, that we can utilize right now, and that's in Vegas, outside of Vegas. They're saying that saying it's being reported. I'm sorry, that it would take hundreds of millions of dollars to get this facility up and running, and at least 2 years. Thomas Barry, you said something very important not too long ago. Remember, those folks whom are charged with looking after our nuclear arsenal have been laid off. I'm concerned about those two things coming together. Why? I think that this is going to be a rush job just so he can flex his stones and make it look like he's strong and powerful.
Pebbles, pebbles.
Pebbles, my apologies, I do stand corrected, sir. That he's so he can look strong and powerful. And because of that, a lot of folks are going to get hurt. A lot of folks are going to get hurt. Uh, what is your take on that, Rodney? That's this is your backyard, bro. What do you think?
I don't think it's going to happen.
Okay.
Safety concerns. You maybe if it just impacted Southern Nevada, which is where the bulk of the Democrats are, but the winds typically don't blow towards Vegas. The winds typically blow towards Utah, and they're still recovering from that. So I think it's just that saber rattling, or as they say in Texas, what is it? All hat but no head, or something like that. So I don't think.
Boy. Oh, no head now. Oh, I'm sorry. You talking about something else? I'm sorry. I was confused.
You pick, uh, but yeah, I think it's saber rattling that will.
Look at Thomas, you stupid. I'm like,
Hey, well, Sister Rashi's been quiet, so we got to have some comic relief in this thing.
Look, I'm not the. Hey, let me tell you, I know when I'm listening to important information, and so I go ahead on and keep it tight when I'm hearing that. But I do want y'all to know that a lot of people are not going to do that voting. They're going to attempt to hit the streets. So they think it's either or. Either I will vote or I will protest, and it's important for us to talk to our listeners about when you become an active citizen. It's not either or. You vote and you protest
correct.
and you
Correct.
network and it's a long list of exhaustive work that comes with being a conscientious citizen.
Mhm.
And so I would like for us to perhaps somewhere down the line explain citizenry, because they're about to cut that shit on out of the whole curricula. So what does it mean to pay your taxes? Why must you pay them? If we all decide not to pay, what falls apart? Why must and then let's analyze that tax. Not Don't let them just keep playing, throwing pennies on there on accident. When you are taxing, it ain't taxing everybody. It's within a municipality, so you get to say so. Go to the damn town hall meetings. Go sit in on your legislators working at the state capitol. Go down there to that city hall. Go look and sit in. Hey, Mr. Rodney, have you ever just gone and sat down and watched a judge do his work? Like literally went into a courtroom and watched the behavior of a judge. Just who does he pardon? What kind of sentence in it? You understand? I think we should all be, if you're a college graduate, sign up to be a substitute, Tom, right? Come on in that classroom and see what had happened. If we get enough people, then maybe the caliber of it's a citizenry call for action. What we're asking is for everything except for you to pick up arms and hit the street until we actually call for you to pick up arms and hit the street. And
Hit
then
the
that's
street.
that's that last tier of citizenry action. And there's some people we can't even put the gun in their hand. They'll shoot backwards. They won't even
So
shoot forward.
so Rashi, to your point, and you brought up a very good one. He was not able to continue the order to require citizenship for folks to vote. A federal judge struck that down as well, saying that was illegal and unconstitutional. So, Rodney, button up your point about the nuclear. testing, and then we need to button up in general because we got 5 minutes left in the show.
Well, it's hard to hide a nuclear disaster.
Right.
It's also hard to hide the decades or generation long effects of results of nuclear disasters on your body. So this is one dog that won't hunt, and I just don't think it's going to happen. I just think it's more saber rattling, and I just don't.
I got a quick question though. In this mass confusion of all of this is just my thought. Maybe because it's kabuki theater. How much of this is like you fire 1,000 employees out of 1,800? I'm pretty sure that some nuclear weapons can go missing. I'm pretty sure that you can sell some things with that cryptocurrency now with some of your new friends who are buying you $400 million planes. I'm just saying, could that be part of it? Because the idea about the testing, yeah, that's scary. But what's even more scarier is that you don't have the security now to guard all of the nuclear weapons, which means that instead of it may being detonated in here in America, what could stop this stuff from going overseas? People flying in, loading up, and then leaving under this president.
Correct. And even if that does not happen, let's say to Brother Barry's point. Okay, so we don't have the testing facilities. I still want them tested. Let's partner with Jordan, and let's see if Jordan will do it for us. So Jordan throws off something, allegedly, but those nukes never are the something that's detonated. So Jordan now gets to build the stockpile of nuclear weapons that we sent to them for testing, but they never really tested. Unfortunately, there's just too many variables with this, and because the keys are in the hands of a not so smart man. Look at the trade deal with China. Not going to dig into that. We can potentially go into that next week. But look at the trade deal with China. What did he gain? He gained nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Toyota said, "I ain't buying nothing. I ain't
nothing." Right. So when you flush this whole thing out, he walked away with nothing but flattery, a pat on the back, and he gave up more than we'll ever get, without a doubt.
Oh man, $400 million. Hey, I'll vote for you next time to become
a
Peace Prize winner.
There you go. So whatever, dog. I don't.
I'm sorry, 40 million.
Vote. Put a plan together. Get your folks out. Get in your folks' ears. Yeah. Go before work that morning. Go after work as soon as you get off. Yeah. Rashi, go before you go to the liquor store. So you on your clean and right mind before you go to the liquor store. You stop and get your little swiggigus. Go ahead and vote. Get the 18-year-old that you got in the house now. Get his butt up. Get him out there so he can vote for the first time. Let the folks clap for him. Get his little sticker. Get a picture with him. Whole nine, but go out and vote. That is the most important thing that we can do, and it's in this moment. I'm sorry, that's the most important thing we can do in this moment, because to your point, Rashi, it's not one thing we got to do. We got to do it all. We got to do the protest piece. We got to do the voting piece. We got to do the supporting of one another piece. We got to do a bit of it all in order for us to get where we need to go. It's a sad time here in America, but God willing, the creek don't rise. We'll see a changing of the tide, a movement of the ship to a greater degree come Wednesday morning. Come Wednesday morning, hopefully there will be some tremors in what has now become the norm over the past 9-10 months in America under the Trump regime, and some folks will get shook in their boots because they're trying to get reelected, knowing daggone well that he can't get reelected for a third term. The World Series going to Game 7. I'm a baseball dude, so I had to slide that in there. The World Series is going to a Game 7. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be pandemonium. It's going to be in T-Dot. And best of luck to both teams. I have no dog in the fight. Whoever wins, wins, and there it is. Hopefully Mookie will have a better game because he ain't had a good series yet at all. Mookie Betts, if you all aren't familiar. He hasn't really had the best of series at all, but hopefully it'll be better. Shouts out to them Ravens beating them Dolphins the other day. Their coach Mike McDonald, right? That boy need to be gone. They fired the GM. They need to fire the damn coach. That boy need to be gone. And yeah, we'll see what's going to happen in the NFL for the rest of the season. Anybody got anything before we cut out?
Well, I do want to say here in the Twin Cities, we have an election for mayor in both Minneapolis and St. Paul. And I want to talk about the difference between the mayors in Minneapolis and St. Paul real quick, because they're all Democratic farm labor parties. And in Minneapolis, they do not have any Republicans running against the mayor. They're either independent or they're all Democrats. And same thing with the city council. What I want people to keep in mind, though, if you look at the difference between the two mayors, one mayor is invested because he's from the community, and that's the mayor in St. Paul, Mayor Melvin Carter, who's also African-American. He's invested. His mother was a county commissioner. His father was a police chief, and he is a child of Rondo, which was the historic Black community inside of St. Paul. He knows those streets. He knows those people. He cares about it. Jacob Fry, well, he's from out east here in Minneapolis, and that's our mayor here. He is the guy who's all about big business. He's all about, the idea of commercial real estate. And then we have the encampments, which are what a bunch of homeless people that Minneapolis have never seen before. That's the difference between two cities. Now, listen, both mayors are up for re-election. One's trying to get his a third term. The other's trying to get a second term. And what I will tell you is, if you like the progress in St. Paul, you vote for Mayor Carter. If you don't like the progress and you want to redress, you vote for his opponents. Same thing inside of Minneapolis. If you want to keep those encampments growing, hey, you keep Jacob Fry. If you want more George Floyd's, Amir Locke's, other world, you keep Jacob Fry. He's the guy for it. As a matter of fact, he's so much the guy from it that Mariah Samuels got beat to death inside of August. Now, people look and say, why would you talk about the mayor? Well, the mayor's the top cop here. The police department reports to him. And some of the lies and some of the things that he has stated as far as investigation on this young girl's murder has not been true. But if you want the lies to continue, and you want a guy who's been mayor for 8 years to promise you that he's going to be a better man, well, what the hell you got the job for? You should have been a better man after George Floyd. 4 years later into it, now you're going to be a better man in the 12th hour? No, thank you. But the choice is yours. The choice is yours. The point of it is get out and vote. And this ain't about left or right. This is about progress or regression. Which one do you want? Keep regressing or to truly progress?
That's what's up. Ryan, you got anything?
Same thing. Just grab someone, preferably a young person, love them, and show them that you love them. And remember that your voice is the way we protest in this country, followed up with the vote. Don't let anybody take your voice and exercise your vote.
That's what's up. Look, y'all, I got to get up with Brother Barry, so I need to get on the move because he going to leave me if I don't. You all be good. You all be safe.
I'm seeing you right now to the address.
If don't nobody tell you we love you, we do, and ain't a damn thing you can do about it. Until next week, family. Peace.